The market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Volatility in stocks, trading halts, short squeezes. Is this good for crypto or is it not good for crypto? Don't go anywhere and we will tell you. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And it is more important now than ever to hit the like button. This show is brought to you by my Patreon. Patreon.com/unhinged crypto. The link is down below. The QR code is here on the screen, and we'll be putting links in the chat. A recent write-up on all of the alpha from Consensus Conference is now inside Patreon. $15 a month. I don't see how you can beat it. Don't see how you can beat it. Let's welcome who's here. Then we're going to rip into some news. Jappy wants to know if I'm running for office yet. Oh, dude, I wish. Danimal first on the stream, right? He makes it for the first time in several years. Forget about it. Philip, welcome. Let's see who else is here. Bull Runner in the house. Joe Mike. Bypass Barry's Rave Song Records. Silas, welcome. GT, Jasmine is in the house. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Bart. Yappy talking about Bark. Yes, we will do Bark, the water token, and real world assets today. Funny, there was a competitor called Lake at Consensus recently raising money. Bark could be back. Philip reminding you to slash the mic button. Oli Chow is here, YouTube intern. Welcome. All right, let's go to news. There's plenty of it. There's plenty of it. Okay, Dow down. Manufacturing activity down. Some stocks get halted because of volatility. There was too much volatility. Barron says there's too much volatility for some stocks to function. What? There's too much volatility for stocks to function? Given the valuation of stocks, they don't need a problem like this. Particularly when you've got a short squeeze going on. Not sure if I can mention the name, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There's a big short squeeze out there that could be really big, could be epic, could lead to somebody blowing up and rate cuts. It's happened before. Speaking of happened before, I think it just happened to our friend Warren Buffett, where Berkshire Hathaway had a substantially lower print. And ironically, Bloomberg, using AI, actually reported Berkshire Hathaway down 100%. So we either have a fat finger problem on an exchange or we have something mysterious. Now, mysterious things are toxic. If we don't know what it is, you don't want to make too much out of any one day. You don't want to freak out and lose it. But wouldn't it be nice if we had some of this stuff on chain, or you had decentralized real world assets from Consensus? OMG. Check Patreon. We'll go through some charts, some real world asset coins that never went down and are going up. And after being at that conference, you'll know why. Suit after suit after suit. The details are in Patreon. Robin Holland checking in. Crypto Crazy says that was no glitch. Bradley from the UK. Dave wants the Ondo chart. Welcome. Yes, I've got that. I've got that in the PowerPoint. Now, here is the list of all the NYSE trading oopsie daisies from this morning. Yikes. Okay. CNN reporting why the Dow fell 1,000 points in the last 3 days. Maybe because it's overbought. Maybe because the valuations are ridiculous. Maybe there are losses inside financial institutions that are disturbing. Or maybe we just have old-fashioned demand destruction. Even with a career, I don't have enough to pay my rent. I don't have enough to buy groceries every week. I don't know what to do anymore. This is unsustainable. This is a dance teacher sounding very genuine. What are people going to do in this environment? What are they going to do? You have what they call shrink at the dollar store is so bad, they have to close self-checkout. Wall Street quietly passing $75 billion in potential bailouts to taxpayers. While exempting thousands of banks from prudent rules that protect taxpayers, banks have learned their lesson from 2008 in that Uncle Sugar will bail you out. Now, since we're short the banks, we got to try to be long Bitcoin, even if there's intense volatility in the month of June, which there could be, right? If you have this short squeeze creating a problem, that's going to create a lot of volatility in crypto. But Bitcoin ETF holdings are more than 4% of total Bitcoin supply. Let me tell you something. Private wealth management, pension funds, institutions, they're going to want the Bitcoin ETF. There's going to be a net underneath this market, I think. And everyone is trying to say, well, you know, financial advisors can't recommend it yet because we're still checking out the ETF and blah, 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 blah. All you need is a trading halt in Berkshire Hathaway to get everyone's attention. Are they going to really need to wait for their financial advisor to call them up and talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum when it comes out? Right? Why do you think that ETF was expedited? No one is asking these questions, and you should be. And you find out this morning. Oh, whoops, we have a problem with our stock trading. Oh, whoops, we have a massive short squeeze. That could potentially be, I mean, yeah, it's got a lot of like cool social media, people releasing their positions. But, do you think a guy like that has a position that big if he didn't like really have done the math? He's done the math. And somebody could just kapooey in legacy. And we've got more charts about legacy. So you want to give me some volatility in Bitcoin? Okay. You want to give me some volatility in ETH? Okay. Solana? Okay. You're going to want to hear about what Kathy Wood said about Solana in Patreon. Here's the bottom line. I don't care if it goes down in June. I don't care if it goes down. I'm not getting bearish. I don't care if it rushes up to 70 and goes to 60. I don't care. I don't. Because I know at the end of the day, this is why we crypto. And the more anyone tries to hold it back, like if the stock market goes down and crypto follows, I don't care. If XYZ person in a position of power in the public sector likes it or doesn't like it, I don't care. If they like it, of course I care. Liking crypto is a great way to make friends, particularly for an event in the fall. And no one's going to forget that. No one's going to forget who is for crypto and who is for free speech. No one. Just in, Australia's Spot Bitcoin ETF to go live tomorrow. Don't forget, they have it in Hong Kong. They have it in Australia. Why is that, you think? Because people are going to want it. Because financial institutions are not going to get left in the dust when the writing is on the wall. The writing is on the wall. Now, from the Financial Times, European Bitcoin, like they're not ETFs, they're just like regular stock market products. Yeah, they're suffering outflows. Why? Because people prefer the ETF. Probably because the ETFs have lower fees, right? People want market share. You want market share? You want people trading the Bitcoin ETF through your company? Then you got to offer lower fees. It's become more efficient to get your hands on Bitcoin if you're in a legacy market. And you think that's going to stop after today? You think it's going to stop? Like, we have to deal with the occasional Coinbase outage, but we don't have to endure like, oh, I can't trade ETH. Or, the Solana network, you may not be able to do a swap, but it's not like we're like, oh, we have to halt the coin. There is no halting the coin. Fiscally sound pension funds, according to Michael Saylor, see the value of Bitcoin. Pension funds, state investment funds, sovereign wealth funds, again, in Patreon, in the consensus write-up, the things that the Bitcoin miners said was the most telling component of the conference. The number one source of demand for Bitcoin, sovereign countries. The El Salvador experiment repeated elsewhere. Cathie Wood talked about it. She talked about the justification for her 1 million Bitcoin target. That's for the customers. What I can tell you is when you see some of the stuff that I put in about consensus, the market goes down, you're going to be like, meh, market's going down. Somebody has to sell. There's an inflation number. I don't care. I just don't care. You're headed for a restaurant problem in the United States. You're headed for probably corporate problems because of demand destruction. Rapper 50 Cent accepted Bitcoin for his album 10 years ago. Anybody who thinks they're going to sell anything at the holidays is going to have to accept crypto. Now, admittedly, I have been saying this for a number of years. So I may have been early on this idea of the digital cash solution. But things like privacy, things that move quickly, these things are going to become money. People really underestimate how things like Solana can become money. Here's the thing about the restaurants, right? I mean, look at that woman who was crying because she can't afford to buy groceries. 2 small steaks with 5 shrimp for 2 people was $100 in Austin, Texas. It's like, and that was a special occasion for me. So I don't know how anyone's doing that on a regular basis. Okay, Ray Dalio has a huge, huge bet on corporations failing. Now, this is strange. Cathie Wood all of a sudden doesn't want to do the Ethereum ETF after talking a really big game at Consensus. Now, I think we also have to start talking about gold. Okay, this comes from Twitter, from like basically the smartest guy in the whole world, pretty much. Okay, eligible physical gold delivery notices are up 10x. And you have to start wondering whether or not when somebody who has a piece of paper gold actually wants physical gold, are they going to be able to get it? And if they don't, what happens? Well, it's pretty obvious. One, you have massively higher prices for gold. That seems clear. You have massively higher prices for silver. That seems clear. That's constructive for Bitcoin and Ethereum. That seems clear. What's not clear is what happens if there's an issue where someone has paper gold and can't get physical. Physical as in actual metal bars. What happens? Well, who's in between the people with the paper gold and the people with the physical gold? Who's in the middle that could have a problem? That would be the big banks, I think. So everybody thinks everything is okay. And this morning, you're kind of getting this feeling that it may not be. So even if Bitcoin can't really rally because of this uncertainty, there's no one that's going to talk me out of Bitcoin, even if it's 8% lower. Not after what I heard at Consensus. Not when I hear I'm at the Polkadot booth talking to some senior computer guy, and I kind of get bumped out of the way by this computer science looking dude wearing a name tag from a big Wall Street bank telling both of us that, you know, he's going around collecting information about what's going on with crypto products to report it back to the suits. So if you think Wall Street is going to wait, you know, Wall Street was like, well, you know, it's going to happen sooner rather than later. And some guys are like, it's a marathon and not a sprint. Whatever. All it takes is one problem in the system to accelerate everything that they want to do in terms of on-chain assets. Remember, when you put securities on the blockchain, securities can move back and forth between big institutions without exchanges, without broker dealers, without banks. That's why they want it. They want money without governments, and they want securities without Wall Street, period. Okay. And, as far as I'm concerned, gold goes to 5,000. Bitcoin's eventually going with it. Okay. A big country in Asia sold 50 billion in treasuries last quarter, and they've been buying $25 billion worth of gold per year. Okay. So China buying gold in white, treasury holdings down. Who's buying our debt? We are. That's why you have rampant inflation with 5% rates, right? When the government has to basically create money in order to prop up government debt, it's about as inflationary as you can get. It's about as inflationary as you can get. Okay, so GME, if I can mention GME, we'll take a chance. Short sellers in this particular stock are set to lose $1 billion relative to Friday's close. $1 billion. Now, when it comes to governments, $1 billion is not a lot of money. When it's a private sector company's P&L and you're using $1 billion suddenly, this can create a chain reaction. Now, hopefully these GameStop things, they've been like one-off things. They've been like, yeah, it's up. There's a whole bunch of Twitter posts. They ramp it. Okay. And then they take it back down. Fine. So it's just another reason to kind of laugh at equities. However, if something like this shatters confidence in equities, or it actually creates somebody like actually goes out of business, this GameStop thing, GME thing is funny until it's not. Until it's not. Now, I like the idea of the rebellion against the system, but for me, if you want a rebellion against a system that has positive reverberations, I think that's Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana, right? This, okay, again, fun, yes, until something happens, right? Because whoever is short this stock, safe to say, they're in trouble. Louisiana reaffirms gold and silver as legal tender. It is a question of time before sovereigns and states start recognizing gold, silver, Bitcoin, and Ethereum as actual money. And they may stop taxing it as investments. They may actually treat it like money. Now, one thing about consensus that kind of like stuck out to me, I can throw this out there, was the guy from Ripple not really talking much about XRP. He mentioned that, he could have an XRP, Solana, and Cardano ETF. Kathy Wood thinks the street can only handle 2 or 3 at a time. So it would be Solana next. But the guy from Ripple spent most time talking about regulation and stablecoins and not a lot of time talking about XRP. I was like, dude, I'm an XRP enthusiast. Give me something. He didn't give me anything. He didn't. Okay. MicroStrategy founder agrees to pay a $40 million settlement. All right. So I don't know. There was some kind of dispute as to whether or not he owed taxes or not. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I do know that he paid $40 million to make the government go away because he can't be distracted from the bull market. That's not exactly what he said, but he said that, I don't want any more ongoing litigation. You just look at these guys and be like, what do you want? And you just pay them. Right. You just pay them to just get it out of the way. Crypto Path here from Quebec City. Welcome. Why Ethereum ETF day one inflow won't be like Bitcoin. So all these reasons why the Ethereum ETF, it's like, okay, 1 minute it's like, we won't get it. Then we get it. And then it's like, it won't be as good as Bitcoin. It's like, I'll sell the fact. Oh, this and that. Listen, when people start coming after this stuff, it doesn't have to be today. It's like the crypto world is so ridiculous. It's like, oh my God, all the money in the world has to flow in on the first day. Number go up. Where is someone bought my bags yet? This is not going to work this way. I'm telling you. Everybody is still trading 2021. Everybody wants something to go up. It wants it to go to the moon and then have you get out before it implodes. That's not how it's going to be. It could take more time to start. It could be slower on the upside at first, gradually, then suddenly. Whatever volatility the market offers you, it's an opportunity. Volatility is an opportunity for the month of June. Let me say that again. Volatility is an opportunity in the month of June. If they want to sell it to you cheap, they want to make you red day, they want to give it to you, then take it. Because again, I saw suit after suit after suit after suit. They want it, they want it, they want it, they need it. And if you look at what happened this morning, it's obvious. It's obvious, but it's not traded. Okay, let's talk about another little interesting thing. Okay, African countries' interest in Bitcoin unfazed by any regulatory restriction. CZ goes to jail. The guys who wrecked the world in 2008, some of the most irresponsible things in the history of Wall Street. Nobody got in trouble. Nobody went to jail. Nobody got arrested. And CZ is going to do time. Absolutely stark raving, unbelievable. You can add free CZ to the list. A word on sentiment from Consensus. So I had a conversation with a lawyer. He said, you know, the quality of people coming into my office to start crypto projects is very high. And I said, yeah, only the strong survive. It's almost like we're still in the bear market in terms of people's like willingness and ability to start projects and the quality of what has to be there in order to survive. He's like, yeah. And there's another story where people sold all of their crypto. People sold their entire crypto positions, but went to the conference anyway just to check to make sure everything was okay in the industry. They came for a pep talk. Can you believe it? So you have people who are bullish, not long, and scared. So what happens when all the bullish people at some point, even if they get more scared, what happens when all these bullish people become unafraid and have to buy back in? Let me give you some guidance. You want to have your portfolio set before all those people come in and buy. And that includes your BlackRock, your ARKs, your Galaxy Digital. Because I'm telling you right now, when these companies, when they get whatever Bitcoin they can get in June, once the red days are over, they're coming after this stuff like you don't know. They're coming after this stuff like you don't know. Because it's one thing to read a CoinDesk article about it, and it's another one to see a panel and what the Bitcoin miners said. You know, that's in Patreon. Because you know what? They gave it to you real clean and real simple. Real clean and real simple about what's going to happen in this market if it goes down. That they're just going to be standing down there waiting for it. Standing down there waiting for it. And it's the same thing with Solana. I mean, if there's only going to be 3 ETFs in the world, it stands to reason that if they just got caught with ETH, they got caught. Like they haven't had time to buy the Ethereum that they need to buy for that ETF. They're probably all sitting there looking at the screen, holding their breath. Like, God, what are we going to do? What, you think they're going to get caught on Solana too? You think they're going to get caught on Solana? There's no way they're going to get caught on Solana. And, you know, if the current administration has to like somehow pump out crypto positive news and give Wall Street something that it wants, Solana's next. I mean, Galaxy Digital is running one of the biggest Solana validators. Galaxy Digital is like a crypto investment bank. What, you think they're going to sit around and go, yeah, I don't think we're going to call our congressman about a Solana ETF. We'll wait. No one's going to wait. No one's going to wait. All right, let's see who else is here. Okay. We have Ziza here. Welcome. Met him in person. Met a couple people in person at Consensus. Breadfruit Leaf says, you mean moon Lambo soon. Okay, I don't know about moon Lambo today, right? And I think if it does moon, it's going to be like a stairway. Gradually, then suddenly. Daniel J says he's surprised Sailor hasn't bought a miner yet. Yes, for all on Bitcoin mining, that is in Patreon. You will enjoy it. It's called Consensus Alpha. Phil from Iceland is in the house. Okay, Crypto Crazy reminding you to hit the like button. Kim Craig is here noting that there's a big move in Caspa. Okay, big move in Caspa. Tibor high. Are we bullish today? Yeah, I mean, we're bullish the first couple days of the month. I don't know what they're going to do with things like the payroll number or CPI. You know, that's like in the middle of the month. So whatever consternation happens after the numbers in the middle of the month, take it from them. Routine Cheese is here. Welcome. Okay, let's go to PowerPoint. Okay, we're going to PowerPoint. We want to welcome everybody who's watching on both YouTube and Twitter. Please feel free to hit the like button. That is now more important than ever. Unrealized gain and losses on investment securities. Source FDIC, given to me by my buddy AMK. So, we have some losses inside financial institutions. The yellow ones are what they can get out of over here, and the blue ones are stuff that they're stuck with. And we have 500 something billion dollars worth of securities that are sitting at a loss. So all you need is for something to happen related to high interest rates or somebody having a problem to trigger something bigger. Right now, initially, that'll be good for Bitcoin. We don't know if there's more consternation, say, in stocks. Matter of fact, I would say that the stock market right now is the biggest risk to crypto. Because the stock market, to me, looks like, oh, God. I mean, Stan Druckenmiller, one of the most famous hedge funds ever, who basically believes in getting long and never selling, sold NVIDIA. And when I look at some of these charts, I can see why. Okay, U.S. ratio of total market cap of the stock market to GDP. So it actually did get as high as 200, probably right before the Fed tightening cycle. And now it's back at 185. So the total market cap of the stock market is twice as big as the economy, or 1.8 times the size of the economy. Wow. Does that make sense? One, and two, is anybody going to tell me that the decentralized money, AI, finance world is somehow expensive relative to this wacko number? Please, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, right? Our market is too cheap. Their market is too expensive, period. Why the heck do you think all these guys want in on crypto? It's easy. Really, it is. It's just a question of when everybody goes, okay, now we're just going to suddenly trade it. Right? They may try to knock the market down. That's how bad they need it. They'll take any excuse to knock it down. And if they do, we're waiting for them. This is S&P 500 on an intraday chart. So, you have these down moves. And a lot of times in equities, when you have a down move, you retrace like 76%. That's exactly what happened. So it was down all the way back up. And then you have, whatever you had this morning with short squeezes and trading halts and all kinds of stuff like that. This doesn't look particularly good to me, especially when you're talking about a break of a trend line and then a retest like that. Okay. DXY. Don't want to even say anything other than DXY. DXY has like a linear regression point at 104. If that doesn't hold, you're talking about 101. I don't understand. I don't understand when you look at the headlines as to whether or not this is a governable nation, how this can be above 100. I mean, I can't talk about the headlines again. If you want all the information on all the things we can't talk about on YouTube, it's all in Patreon. Like the consensus alpha plus everything we can't talk about is in Patreon. What we can talk about is if you look at what's going on and you look at how certain people are being treated, it's unbelievable. You know, talk show hosts worried that their shows are going to get turned off. I mean, I don't recognize certain things in the world today, but I recognize that, you know, this can't stay up here like this. Eventually, this is going to wind up benefiting Bitcoin and Ethereum, period. Wait a minute. Is that a graph of interest rates falling? Yeah, it is. So this is the interest rate on 5-year government bonds, right? So interest rates down, bonds up. So you might be asking yourself, it's like, okay, Bill, you've talked about, you know, Uncle Sugar having some, you know, financial challenges. So what's the big hurry to, you know, like buy bonds and bid them up? So, and rates falling, like why is everyone flooding into treasuries today? Now, again, you don't want to make too much out of any one day. You don't want to make too much out of any one incident. You don't want to make too much out of any cat person tweet. You don't. But if everyone looks at these things and goes, you know what? Happy Monday. I'm buying the 5-year. I'm buying a 2-year. I'm going to go park some money. I don't want to play anymore. Okay. Now for crypto, this is good. Lower rates and the price and the eventual pricing in of a Fed rate cut. I don't care what anybody said. I have said this. I will continue to say it. They are going to do rate cuts before September. They got to do something before all of the conventions. What conventions? Well, I'm going to have to let you Google that. But there's a lot of conventions in the summer and things are going to break. And they are responsible for that, but they're going to have to act like they're trying to fix it. Because demand destruction over the summer is here. I mean, look at this woman that was on that show. I mean, how many people out there do you think there are like this? Matter of fact, there are so many people here. I actually saw Tony Robbins trying to advertise his self-help program by saying inflation is terrible and I know you're working a side hustle, but let me give you my program so you can go out and find a job that really does work for you so that you're not killing yourself. Right? Or you're working so hard that, you know, you feel like that's what I meant by, you know, you're not overworking yourself. 5-year interest rates falling. Good for Bitcoin eventually. Now, this is S&P. So this is 2016 when you had an election of a pro-business individual. Okay, this is a 5-wave structure. This is what 5 waves looks like. There's a signal over here. There was a 0 at the bottom of this market, of the stock market in 2016. And there is a 0 signal up here. The 0 signal in the DeMark Elliot Wave tool can mean the trend is done. This is a monthly chart, and this literally could have been sell in May and go away in stocks. The biggest risk to crypto is stocks, in my opinion, right? In other words, I can't come up with a reason for everybody to go, oh yeah, let's just sell crypto on old news. Oh yeah, you know what? I woke up this morning and I don't really like crypto anymore. That is not going to happen. Now, can crypto get, you know, sloshed around if there's a problem with equities or something doesn't go right in the financial system or algos get all weirded out by economic numbers? Yeah. Is it going to make me upset? No. But Stan Druckenmiller sold NVIDIA for a reason. Warren Buffett is sitting in cash for a reason. Okay, so Bitcoin on a monthly chart, we have a DeMark 9 signal for the month of June. So that either means we're going to have a big top or we could have a pause. You could argue the pause was actually in April. I don't exactly know what that means. I know if there was a euphoric run up in Bitcoin, that would probably be some sort of local top. I also know that if there was a dip during the month of June, I'd be like, well, that's on par with the theory. You get the 9 signal and you get a dip. I'll take it. Really. I'll just take it. Like, oh my God, it's down. Whatever. I took a lot of heat for not getting bearish or not catching the top. I went to consensus and I'm like, I can't believe I ever thought about getting bearish. Or I can't believe I felt bad. I mean, I do feel bad, obviously, that people lose money or people have to deal with pain. So I'm not an idiot. But I think in crypto, after what I heard at consensus, is more important to keep your focus and stay bullish and set up levels below the market and set up coins that you want to grab. Those reports are coming soon to Patreon. Right? We'll feature 2 of the coins that we were looking at today because it's real world assets and they just don't stop going up. So I guess this is a nice way of saying I really don't care what happens in Bitcoin. Right? If they give you a pause, it's bullish. It is. If they give you a pause, it's on par with theory and it's bullish, whether it's down or whether it's sideways. Okay, Ethereum, there's still support at 37.26. Obviously, this post ETF reaction is underwhelming, but no one's got the Ethereum they need to deal with ETF inflows. They don't. And to sit around and go, no one's going to want Ethereum when gold's got nowhere to go but up, when DXY has nowhere to go but down, I'm not sure I understand what people are thinking here. Matter of fact, if Bitcoin has kind of a sluggish, slow June, maybe, I don't see any reason why ETH and Solana can't smoke to the upside. And heaven forbid someone starts talking about a Solana ETF. Like, how long is it going to take before that talk starts? Right? I mean, the guys that run the Solana validators are drooling over this. Right? Because, when the Solana validators get their profits from running the network and have to sell Solana, they'll be selling it right to the ETF holders. You put a vanilla, organic, natural buyer into the Solana market where they're just kind of like siphoning it off on a regular basis. Oh, my God. It's so ridiculously bullish, right? Now, Solana, they're supporting 160. Okay. So if 160 is holding, everything is okay. Okay. NEAR has a head and shoulders bottom. I think this is a very interesting chart. NEAR solves a lot of Ethereum's problems. I think it's a question of time before something real world assets gets built and announced on NEAR. Speaking of real world assets, Bark, the water token, is moving. They have a catalyst. They've gotten water rights in Alaska to go along with Greenland and the production facility in Florida. And I think the biggest piece of news about this, laughably, is that there's a competitor that has nowheres near the reserves or the facilities that the Bark group has. And they got a booth at Consensus and raised $3 million from a VC just because their name is Lake. But they have nothing compared to what these guys have. So this token woke up with a $3 million market cap. And all I can say is you fade the real world asset theme at your own risk. Regardless of whether or not this needs to consolidate or it just makes kind of an orderly stair-step move higher. Right? Real world assets are just smoking. Right? BlackRock had some comments about what it's looking to do with crypto partners. Again, Patreon, Ondo is up only. Ondo got to its initial target at $1.40 from the diamond. And this could be a measured move where this is the original move up. And then there's another move up after that of the same magnitude. So that's a nice way of saying you can get corrections. This has been outperforming. Nothing outperforms forever. But, after you get dips, this is probably going to $2. Because none of this, tokenized bonds and tokenized government bonds is already happening in Europe. Like, believe it or not, at Europe, they're going warp speed into tokenization. And I would imagine you would continue to see that in the emerging market world as well. which is bullish as all get out. Because once institutions feel like they're missing out on this type of stuff, you're going to see FOMO like you've never seen before. I'm serious. Like, look at OM, right? It's in a range. It breaks out, comes back down and retests and goes. There's some big player in here already, as I have noted over and over and over again. There's some big player in here already using treasuries as collateral and borrowing it to get stables. Undoubtedly, to just sit down there and probably buy more Bitcoin, although I don't know that for sure. Like, why are you going to fade any of this? Why are you not going to be involved? Why are you going to say, oh, crypto's down or my coin isn't moving? All right. Well, the market's going to like rotate. The market leader right now is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and real world assets. Just because you have some BS disturbance on an inflation number, who cares? Who cares? Right? When DXY starts to move lower, what's going to happen? What's going to happen when gold moves? I mean, people are like looking for like the when Lambo type of stuff. This is the when Lambo stuff. Now let's talk about Solana. So triangles in crypto don't always work out well. They don't. It looks like a bull flag. Unless it's a square bull flag, it's not the greatest thing in the world. It is. A lot of these triangles sometimes resolve themselves to the downside. Now, Solana's in the middle of its range, and I'm not freaking out by any stretch of the imagination. But it would be kind of cool if Solana sort of defied the odds and then broke out of the top side of this channel, this triangle, rather. I do think that what goes on in this market is very much a function of what happens with Solana. ETH is a waiting game. No one thinks they have to buy ETH, which is funny and wrong. But that appears to be the post-ETF game. And the big question is with Solana, are they going to risk getting caught off guard like they got caught off guard in ETH? In other words, are they going to start slowly gobbling up Solana and Ethereum? The alternative thesis is they try to push it down. Okay. I mean, if they pushed it down, it would be a gift. It would be a gift. It almost would be too easy. Okay. Ray, inside the Solana universe, a clear break of a trend line. And it's not shocking that decentralized trading is up on days where they're having problems in legacy. And that is the market update. All right. Kim is talking the end of the Petro D. Breadfoot Leaf is like, run those bears out of town. Run those bears out of town. Great filibuster with a $10 super chat. Sir, I appreciate you. Okay. Late to class. Ignore the loud thud from the door slamming behind me. Sir, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Big Rich with a $5 super chat. Okay. Can you check the chart in my new AI gaming layer 1 based? We are so early. Yes. Okay. So that's a perfect segue over to live TA. Okay. Let's just confirm. BasedAI. I'm not sure. That might be on a decentralized exchange. So let's check BasedAI. By the way, AI at Consensus was like a side panel presentation. Side panel. Like, I think the main AI event was on the last day, and you had to take a bus to get to it. Okay, so this is BasedAI, if I have this correctly. Okay, like so many cryptos, it went down to the 62% retracement and held. And now it's trying to get above the 32% retracement, which is at 747. Okay. Like when you see this kind of thing holding, it's very hard to believe that the coin doesn't want to go up. Even though it's outperformed the market over the recent times, nothing outperforms forever. In my opinion, people want this. They want it. They absolutely want it. Right. Jappy says the Lake token has 9 times the supply and their listing price will be 2 cents. So doesn't that mean that the Bark token actually has to go up? Yo, man, you said it, right? You said it. Okay, moving to live TA, looking for signs of a bottom. Looking for signs of a bottom on a list that we will be featuring soon in Patreon. Okay, Goldfinch. Okay, I'm going to adjust the linear aggression band on this to 100 days to see if we get anything decent. Okay, again, any type of dip in these coins, ready to go. Rune. Okay, decentralized, cross-chain. Let's go back to linear regression bands on this. See what we get. Okay, nothing exciting right now. Honestly, again, cross-chain. I can't believe cross-chain is not the future. But as you can see, you're not really missing out on anything. In other words, you're like, oh, the market left without. Remember all this? Like, oh, the market left without me. Oh, the cycle, I missed it. No, man. What have you missed? Look at this Solana staking protocol. What exactly have you missed here over the last, say, month? Like, let's go to 4-hour chart of JTO. Nothing. Nothing. It's moving straight up and down sideways. Now, is that boring? Yes. And what does the market do in bull markets? It bores you out of trades. It bores you out of trades. And if there was ever a drop, like I said over here, basically after listening to consensus, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, so we can go to GME. That's undoubtedly of interest. Okay, so I don't think we can do linear regression channels on GME, but we can maybe do a 30-minute chart. Okay, and here's what's unbelievable about GME. Now, I'm just going to tell you what my experience is. Let's go back to 4-hour charts. Normally, this is called an island bottom. So you gap down, there's a gap here. Then you gap up, leaving everybody down here short on this island, kind of, hosed. Normally in equities, you don't have islands. So you might expect this gap to get filled. Now, if this gap doesn't get filled, so you would expect this. Okay. Now, if that's not what happens, then you know that you have some kind of problem here. You know that you have some kind of problem. Okay, let's finish off. Patreon has the full consensus write-up. When you hear what the Bitcoin miners said, what the big players were doing, when you hear about the throughput speed in Polkadot, it'll change your mind about this market. Anyone who thinks Bitcoin is not going to 100K by the end of this year needs to think again, because everything that's being said about the event in November, really save one guy, is either going to show you that this may not be a governable country, that there's demand destruction everywhere, and all the bad news is good for Bitcoin. The only thing that's not good for Bitcoin is any theoretical stock market turmoil. There's no stock market turmoil, then we're just coiling up, getting ready for something bigger. Hit the like button on the way out, and comments are appreciated. We'll see you tomorrow.